All right, welcome back, everyone. So continuing on, what are we going to look at next?
Well, this is kind of a controversial topic, and I don't really know how it's going to be received, but it deals directly with faction-based rep, especially with NPC factions. Now, I haven't yet decided if I think factions should extend into player factions. It could, and there's no reason why it shouldn't, but that's not a consideration right now before anybody asks. And this is the topic of rep shunning, or reputation shunning. Before anybody asks, what is reputation shunning? This is basically the ability to become truly hated.
Beyond
something for Toastage to aim at.
And actually, I thought of it for people like Toastage and your hardcore griefers. And by hated, I mean like a company despises you, will no longer do business with you. In fact, they may be trying to kill you. And here's where it becomes, because I'm sure most of you heard that and you're like, well, that's not particularly controversial. What's the problem with that?
You can die.
No.
You can never get out of it.
Yep, it's a point of no return.
True.
You can never solve this problem with this character ever. Because in the end, the place where this came from, that you would eventually, if you did enough collateral damage, if you'd broken into a corporate headquarters enough times and killed enough people and blown up enough property, and you just caused so much havoc, at some point you just cannot redeem yourself from that.
So there's got to be an achievement for just staying right on the edge of that.
Exactly.
For X number of days.
Well, see, yeah, my thing with that, I would, from avoiding breaking the game for someone point of view, my solution, it's very much, and I feel it's the way we've been talking about the faction system anyway, which is almost a yin and yang approach. It scales. If you do something in one direction, it won't. I don't think even bad outcome things could be done in a way in where you get some good from somewhere else. I much prefer the idea of decisions you make in the game being between option A and option B rather than option and no option.
Well,
does that make
No,
sense?
I have no idea how that relates to what I'm talking about. Help me.
Well, if you reach that point of no return,
the more you piss off one company, the more likely you have better standing in another company. I think.
Yeah, and even if you don't want to push it that far, you can say, okay, the more if you really annoy one company, there's going to be someone somewhere is going to take pleasure in that.
Sure.
And then
therefore, that gives you an out. Okay, you're running scared from this company, so you throw your life. You throw yourself on your knees in front of the other CEO and say, "Look, I know you've always hated this guy. Help me, and I'll be yours forever." There is a way, and then that gives you a story arc to turn the character around and take it in a different direction. And
meaning that the game's not over.
Right.
You've just reached the point of no return with Company X.
Exactly.
But is there any way to limit the amount of corporations you'd be simultaneously shunned from?
Here's where it gets fun. No. No.
Get shunned from everyone.
Yes,
so don't be an idiot, Nelson.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That would take willfully annoying. I've got to calm down.
Well, put it this way: if you ran around town with a rocket launcher, blowing up the storefront of every store in town, not only are you going to get arrested, but you're going to get banned from every shop.
This is the thing. There's different types of. I mean, there's sort of different. It's like a Venn diagram of factions because, if you live in the upper west side of New York, it doesn't necessarily mean you're associated with a particular gang. In some ways, your life will be harder because you're not associated with anyone. But equally, you could be associated with a particular gang, and that will make your life harder and easier. Everything in reality is a trade-off. Nothing's ever the perfect answer.
I mean, let's go back to the storefront and the rocket launcher because I kind of like that image.
Sure.
And I destroy all the storefronts, and I go to jail, and I get back out. And I tell all the store owners, I am so terribly sorry. It'll never happen again. I had just been drinking a little bit, and my rocket launcher happened to be nearby, and my bad. And so you give them a little money, and Then the next night, you go into the little pub again. You come back out, another rocket launcher, and you destroy every single person again. After so many times, it's just like, that's it. We're done with you, period.
Yeah, you've closed that door now.
You're not going to give them flowers a month later and say, yeah, I'm a reformed man. We've already gone through the stage of proving that you just cannot, get over the fact that you just have to have alcohol and destroy their stores. So, no.
And the way that I looked at this lock only exists in the negative direction. And I know that sounds really harsh, but if you think about it, there's no amount of good you can do for anybody that you've ever met in your entire life where they will say unequivocally that they will love you no matter what you do to them.
That's right.
You turn around and kill their brother.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. No, I mean,
I don't know. Some families might give you some money.
Yeah,
but
some people would be like, I never liked him anyway. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that does go right back to what Gavin was saying just a few minutes ago, and that is, while all of these store owners in this town now absolutely hate me and will shun me forever, I go to the town next over, and people are like, dude, you're the guy. You're rocket legend, man.
The guy who knows that secretly there's oil under that town and has been trying to buy it up for years.
That's
and
right.
you just helped him out by just destroying half the place and making it impossible for them to stay in business.
Exactly. So what he's going to do is offer you a little bit of money to keep doing it occasionally and keep them upset so that they'll finally sell out.
The core point here is that if you have that sort of swings and roundabouts approach, then you don't. It's far harder to paint yourself into a corner.
Exactly. It would be very tricky to do.
Yeah.
Well, until you turn the rocket launcher on the guy that was, trying to buy the land for the oil, and you start.
As long as it's hard enough that you have to willfully try. That is
the point.
That's what I'm getting at. I mean, like on the one hand, ideally, in this part of town, the local magistrate wants your head on a plate, but on this part of town, you're the hero of Canton. And that's fantastic. That's what you want. But if you're a complete sociopath and you go burn down the city of Canton,
and then we have a problem.
Yeah, and then everybody who comes by says, I never liked that town anyway. Well, you stab them in the neck.
Hi, Mr. Oil Man. Just wanted to let you know I did a great job today of blowing up all of the rebuilt stores again. Awesome job. Thank you. I also wanted to let you know I killed your wife.
That's right. Basically, at that point, you have to be a psychopath.
So he's kind of not liking you, right? So you come back the next day and you have good news again, and you've blown the place up again, and you've killed his daughter. Hey, we're doing pretty good, aren't we? And now he's really not liking you. You see what I'm getting at? You got to try.
And
Sorry, I didn't mean to make that so extreme, everybody.
I was going to say, if somebody wants to put out that much effort to make everyone hate them, I don't really think they're allowed to say, well, this isn't fair.
But then the game just ejects them, period.
Yeah.
We did.
Oh, no, the game keeps them in and screws around with them.
Go ahead, NATO.
Yeah, I did discuss this with Zach a bit ago, and we kind of thought of the case where once you go past the point of no return, you can sort of increase your reputation with them, but you hit a ceiling and you can't go past them. And that ceiling is sort of, they will listen to you, but you are going into this room wearing nothing, with no weapons, with nothing on you at all, surrounded by armed guards, and they will listen to about 5 words you have to say, and then you're getting kicked out again. But if those 5 words that you're going to say are, I know how to make you $1 billion, then they might just listen.
More than 5 words, you got killed halfway through the sentence.
You know what I mean?
9 words.
Chris, are you envisaging that it would, if you'd been down to this sort of point of no return and managed to get them back to a point where they're at least not trying to kill you every 5 seconds, are you envisaging that never again would you be able to get to the higher levels, because there's always going to, it is literally locked. You're never going to be able to get back with that particular corporation to a very high level. But by never, I mean almost never.
I think you would get a different kind of reputation.
Well, see, I actually didn't draw this because I was just kind of idly sketching. This is what I think of pretty much every single thought process that comes off of that, Chris. It basically means there's got to be some way, some form or fashion to redeem yourself to some level. That means some players like, well, it's just not fair. I should be able to do something to defend myself. And you know what? I'm actually open to the idea. I even came up with some ways it could be done. One is, you could have an appeal of sorts. And the appeal could be as extreme as you say, where, we strip you down, we tase you, we beat you for a while, and then you get to ask somebody 5 questions where you're not allowed to use the word "the."
A typical visit to the local Dixon police station.
Exactly. But if you say the word "the," we're going to tase you again for an hour. So anyway, you could do that. But there are other ways if you absolutely had to get out of it and open the door back up. The absolute shun, like the hardcore, not only do we hate you, but we very well might be trying to kill you, could be time-based.
It would certainly be locale-based, the way I'm envisaging the sort
Well, sure, based on the amount of
society.
influence any particular faction has in a given area. I mean, if you're, like, in the
To be
same
honest,
part
I
of...
think that... Sorry, I was just going to say that I feel that does 98% of the job of stopping, of giving you a way out just by virtue of the fact that you can just get the hell out of Dodge.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, just get out of town.
Basically have an ASBO.
Yeah, literally, you're all, back to Shakespeare. You get exiled to the wilderness. In fact, that would be quite an interesting concept that you get checked out. But of course, that means that you can't use public transportation.
That's right. Well, you.
So then you've got to cross the wilderness on foot to get to your next. The thing is, we're talking about a level where it should be hard work to get back from, because you have to work hard at being an idiot in the first place. You should have to do your time. So I would be quite happy to dump someone out there in the middle of nowhere and say, well, you're not allowed back in the train station, and the next city is 5 days trek in that direction.
Exactly. So and the other one I threw out there, I mean, it could just be like, for 1 month you are absolutely and completely hated by this company, but then after that you will return to the lowest possible reputation level before you get shunned. And if you deem it worth your while, you can try to build back up from there. After a month, maybe somebody will listen to you. Now, to me, that is kind of the cheap way out, especially if you really have been spending most of your gameplay time going into and out of this company's buildings and, slitting the throats of all the receptionists and, blowing various computers to bits over and over for the idea that we're going to hate you for a few weeks, but then, later on you'll be okay. I don't like that. But the reason I throw that out there is I realize that sometimes being, the super ultra mega hardcore is just going to, sometimes that's not the answer.
I think I really, and this is partly just probably a throwback to childhood or something, but I just think these people, if they really, because the key thing about this, they can start another character.
Exactly, and that's kind of where I am too.
Yeah. And not be an asshole.
Damn it, they should have to start another character, because why should they get another chance when they've already got all their expensive gear and they can just, there's no real long-term detraction from them. They've got all this nice stuff, and I just think strip them and make them start again. It's their own fault for being an idiot.
I do like what Zach's writing.
What if they didn't have to start again with a new character? What if you really could purchase a brand new identity with the character that you've got?
Prohibitively expensive.
Absolutely.
Exactly, and always with the risk of getting busted.
Absolutely, but here's the great thing. Not only would you drop all of the negative rep that was getting you in so much trouble, but you're a totally new person now. You drop all the positive rep you had, too. It's kind of like...
Yeah, but if you're the sort of person we're talking about is not going to have any positive reputation with anyone.
Sure. If they make it all the way to rep shun status. Absolutely. And so something like being able to purchase a new identity or steal a new identity or, however you want to handle that, that would be very much worth their while. And here's how vicious I am about this, guys. This is the kind of thing I see being an out-of-game purchase that you actually pay real-world money for. It works for WoW if you want to do like a class change or a sex change or a name change. They actually charge you money for that. So what you do is you allow people to pay you real money for it, just like they do in World of Warcraft, but now it has an in-game effect. Anyway. So that is the length and
The long
breadth.
and the short of it is hanging's too good for them.
Yeah, hanging is too good for them. That's really the length and breadth of what I was going to talk about with rep shunning. Nobody really freaked out about it. Which
no one here.
yeah, no one here kind of freaked out. I was expecting somebody in the room to go like, oh, well, you'll just never want to do that because you don't make things harder on players. You don't ever close players out. But I'm kind of a mind where if the player really is hell-bent and determined on making a certain group of people very, very angry with them.
Yeah, especially if he's just a horrible griefer.
Yeah.
He just never stops.
This aspect of the game is dedicated to Terry.
Exactly.
It does
That
need to
flash
be an
up on the screen.
achievement.
Well,
It does need to be an achievement.
here's
Literally
the,
just get shunned by everybody.
and that could be an achievement, absolutely. But there's another way you could apply this too. If you had a game encompassing, and this can be for individual races as well, or it could break down into multiple factions. I don't know. But if you had a game encompassing security force, and you really could affect your reputation with them if you were a repetitive griefer in areas where you really shouldn't be griefing and you keep getting caught at doing it. It's entirely possible you could end up getting rep shunned by them. Mm-hmm. And now it's almost like getting pirate classification in Eve. Mm-hmm. Basically, you can't
definitely have that, and so that because it's also the ideal place to stick in the option of you or Jason or any of the staff grabbing an NPC, and
donning a suit of armor and just using our Godsmack ability.
These people, yeah, absolutely. There's nothing more satisfying than smacking a bully.
Just get a special agent turn up and just like wipe the floor with them.
Anyway, so that was pretty much all of this topic. I just wanted to throw that out there and see how it was received. It's something that I feel pretty strongly about that could really help make it feel like the decisions that you make, especially in terms of reputation, have an effect. And you really do need to think about, like, even if you just want to take a whole bunch of jobs from one corporation, if that corporation keeps sending you in to firebomb the HQ of their opponent over and over, at some point, that opponent is going to really, really hate you and may want you dead. And you're going to have to ask yourself, is it worth it to take these jobs over and over again to completely close that door on my character forever? So, anyway, that's all I have for that. So I think that's going to wrap up this video, unless anybody has anything else they want to add.
No, I'm good. Guys?
No.
No.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.